Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to see you all. Again, I'm Danielle Nierenberg. I'm president of Food Tank, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the second annual Food Tank Summit. I also want to welcome those who are watching via our live stream as a part of our partnership with YouTube and also via Facebook Live. I also want to pause and announce that as of yesterday, more than 20,000 people from at least 125 countries were signed up to watch this event online. We are totally blown away by the worldwide interest. Thank you. Yes, it deserves a round of applause. Last year's event trended number 2 worldwide on Twitter, so I have big expectations for this year, so get your smartphones out and start tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming and everything else. We encourage you to do this using the hashtag #FoodTank. A huge thanks to American University and the School of International Service for partnering with us on this year's summit. As you heard, we have an incredible lineup of speakers over the next 2 days, and also a terrific sold-out live audience, all of you. You are some of the most important and interesting voices in food and agriculture. And you should also know that there were at least 500 of you who are waiting on our wait list to get into this event. So I'm really grateful that you all could make it, and we hope to keep expanding these summits so that more of you can participate. As many of you know, we had our first summit in DC last year. It was a great success, so we decided not only to have this event a year later back in Washington, but also to really expand our summits across the country and across the world. We'll be having 2 summits this September. The first is in Sacramento in collaboration with the Center for Land-Based Learning, the University of California, Davis, and the Sacramento Visitors Bureau Farm to Fork program. The other September summit will be in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in partnership with Fazenda da Toca, which is a foundation and an agroecological research center. And we'll also be partnering with the University of Sao Paulo. In November, we'll be partnering with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs and the University of Chicago Booth School of Business on our last summit of 2016. Tickets for all of these summits are already available on foodtank.com. We're really thrilled to have so many amazing partners and really hope to continue expanding these summits well into 2017, including more international locations. Already we have summits planned next year in Boston, New York, Toronto, and London. I want to make clear from the very beginning this morning that this is a solutions conference. I think that we can all agree that we've really focused on the problems in the food and agriculture system for far too long. I'm frankly tired of hearing about how bad things are, whether we're talking about food waste, the number of hungry or obese people worldwide, or how climate change is going to hit poorest farmers the hardest. I am not dismissing the gravity of these problems, but I am sick of how we continue to ignore the things we already know work to solve environmental degradation, lack of jobs, conflict, poverty, and malnutrition. What I crave, and I think what many of you crave, is solutions and learning about the individuals and organizations who are developing innovative practices and policies in fields, boardrooms, restaurants, laboratories, and classrooms across the globe. We can keep talking about the problems, or we can focus on fixes. And that's what Food Tank is all about. Since the organization began only 3 years ago, we have focused on highlighting solutions and bright spots in the food system. What we have done with this summit is bring together 80 of the world's top problem solvers: farmers, economists, scientists, activists, business leaders, policymakers, and academics. With forks, pitchforks, smartphones, lab coats, petitions, and bullhorns, they are ready to act, just like many of you who are here today. You are people who realize that costly, complicated technologies are not always the most appropriate technologies. People who understand that for policies to work, they must come from the ground up. People who understand that putting food on the table does not have to come at the expense of the natural environment, and people who understand that farmers are not villains. Instead, they are people who need to be celebrated for their multiple roles as businesswomen and men, nutritional gatekeepers, protectors of biodiversity, entrepreneurs and innovators, and those who are on the front lines in the fight against climate change every day. We have curated these speakers and topics as well as our amazing moderators very carefully. And again, we are here to focus on innovative solutions, not just the problems. We do not want any canned speeches, grandstanding, or PowerPoints. We want off-the-cuff and honest remarks. We want real conversation on stage and online. That's why we've chosen some of the top food and agricultural journalists from some really amazing media outlets to moderate each panel and really facilitate those discussions. And with respect to the thousands of folks who are watching online today and tomorrow from around the globe, they don't have time for BS, and neither do we. So let's get to work over the next few days. Each panel will have a short 7 to 10 minute keynote, and that will be followed by a 1-hour panel discussion with time for questions from both the audience and online. People with questions will just have about 30 seconds to state their name, their organization, and their question. And I mean question with a question mark, not a mini speech. I might be under 5'2", but I will cut you off if you're giving a presentation as your question. I know I'm lecturing you. I'm going to stop now and do something that I enjoy a lot more, and that's to express gratitude for the amazing individuals and organizations who have made this summit come together. The food tank team usually gets thanked last at these sorts of events, but I really need to thank them first this time. We are a small, scrappy team of people who dedicate our time and many, many hours to putting this type of event together. Katie Opolinska joined Food Tank last year and keeps our social media very fresh and cool. Sebastian Rosemont is a new addition to Food Tank as well and has been doing great work with our sponsors and as part of our fundraising team. I have to do this now or it's going to be a long day. Our Chief of Staff and Jill of all trades, Sarah Small, is an inspiration to me every day. Not only is she an amazing writer and a great manager, but she reminds me to take a deep breath or two every now and again. And last but not least, the amazing Bernard Pollock, who sits on our board of directors of Food Tank and continues to direct our communications and strategy teams. He had the vision to not have just one Food Tank Summit this year, but 4. We also have an amazing cadre of part-time staff who help us do our research and writing, in addition to an incredible group of volunteers, interns, and collaborators. I can't tell you how grateful I am for all of these people. I really love our team. We're so honored to work with a lot of the smartest and most amazing up-and-coming writers and researchers in the world. I hope you'll join me in giving them a round of applause. I also want to thank someone who's here, but you'll probably never see, and that's Patrice Garrity of Buzz Productions for our behind-the-scenes event production, as well as Annette Nielsen of Kitchen Cabinet Events for helping us organize the bright spots in the food system reception and dinner that will be held at Restaurant Nora this evening. I'd also like to thank Brendan Konacki and his amazing team for our live stream. I'm also grateful to the Food Tank Board of Directors and our advisory group. You'll see many of them speaking over the next few days and months of our summits. A special thank goes to board member Nabiha Kazi and her colleague Savannah Henderson from Humanitas Global for volunteering their time and office space and their encouragement. I'm also excited to list the amazing group of sponsors who have shared their products and their knowledge with us for the DC Summit. It's a long list, but all of these people and companies deserve a lot of credit for their help. The breakfast you had this morning was graciously provided by Panera, and the coffee was provided by Vigilante Coffee. We'd also like to thank the Almond Board of California, Annie's Homegrown, the Barilla Center for Food and Nutrition Foundation, Blue Apron, Chaya DC, Chipotle, Cliff Bar, Conflict Cuisine, Driscoll's, Edible DC, Elevation Burger, Fair Trade USA, Farmers Fridge, the Food and Environment Reporting Network, the Global Environmental Politics Program of the School of International Service at American University, Greener Media, Interpress Service, Leafware, Nyman Ranch, Organic Valley, Republic of Tea, and Veg Fund. I also want to thank the moderator of today's panel, the moderators of all of our panels today, who are major food writers, broadcasters, and journalists, who again, we handpicked to really lead these discussions. The wonderful April Fulton from National Geographic will moderate our panel on uncommon collaborations. Simran Sethi is a new friend. She's a journalist and author who wrote the book Bread, Wine, Chocolate, The Slow Loss of Foods We Love, and will moderate our panel on the need for nutrient-dense diets. Samuel Fromartz is a longtime friend of Food Tank and the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Fern, and is the author of In Search of the Perfect Loaf. He'll moderate the protein for the Planet panel later today. Tim Carmen is a James Beard Award-winning food writer with the Washington Post. I wait for his column every week, and he will moderate our food security and conflict panel. And one of my very favorite journalists, Eliza Barclay, who recently joined Vox.com as their science and health editor, will moderate our food recovery and food waste panel. A big round of applause to all of the panelists and moderators. As I mentioned, the summit is being live streamed. Again, we encourage you to use hashtag #FoodTank. Please also tweet, Facebook, Instagram, or email your questions to questions@foodtank.com or to me personally at Danielle@foodtank.com. Before I introduce our first keynote speaker, I want to end with a quote from the farmer philosopher and someone I'm really honored to call a friend, Fred Kirschman. He says that the pleasure of good food is about much more than the taste of food. It is about deep appreciation for and connection to everything on our plates. Let's remember that today as we discuss the future of our food system and our place as eaters in it. Thank you all for coming today.